It's that time again, time for the Monday market update. I'm Jen, this is Chad. We are with eXp Realty and we're here with Gary Eubanks with South Point Bank.
Hey guys, good afternoon. Great to see you. Let's look over last week here for a minute. We had interesting findings last week with Silicon Valley Bank going into default and the regulators overtaking them. A good old-fashioned run on the bank there. But really that bank, if you read anything about it, was very unique in that it mainly serviced a very small sector, or a large sector, but a very unique sector, which is
very
startups. Specialized. Thank you, Chad. That's the word I was looking for. Good word, Chad. Thank you. So specialized sector, which was startups and the tech industry. And basically, when they had a large number of investors try to get some cash out, that industry has been struggling for the last year. They had to go sell off some assets and they were heavily invested in bonds. And with the rate hike we've had over the last 6, 7, 8 months, they just simply lost a lot of money in trying to sell those assets and could not outrun it. So the regulators are taking them over. We don't really foresee necessarily them having a huge impact on the market. That was some big news at the end of last week, along with unemployment data. Unemployment data was actually a little bit worse than they thought. It was at 3.6%, and they had forecasted 3.4%, which is good for inflation.
That's what they're aiming for, right? They're trying to make employment numbers worse.
That's right, exactly.
Which sounds
the
crazy.
Employment, it sounds counterproductive, but that will help gain or garner control with inflation. So that was actually some good news for inflation on Friday morning when those numbers came out. And as a result, we actually had a little bit of a drop in rates. So drop in rates were about an 1/8 point last week, which was some good news for us, as you know. So pretty static week until Thursday, Friday. That news came about regarding the Silicon Valley Bank and then unemployment data. This week, we got coming out, CPI is coming out again, which is a major indication of inflation, the consumer price index. So we're watching for that to see what happens this week as well.
Cool. Now, every week there's something coming out that gives you something to talk about on our Monday updates.
There's always something, Chad, always something.
Well, I was going to touch on real quick, just in the real estate market, kind of what's going on. We've come through, we're March now, so all the sales figures are pretty much in for February. So we can kind of look back at, what happened in February compared to January of this year. And, because you can look at the market as a whole. You hear pundits all the time talking about the market nationally, which is crazy to me because markets are so local. What's going on here versus what's going on in Nashville versus Atlanta versus LA are totally different things. And even within our local market, the more micro markets within that, there's some differences. And so that's where it's very important that you have a professional that knows what they're doing, knows how to look at the market trends and see what's going on with the market to help you navigate it. One of the things I looked at is the number of sold listings. In February, the number of homes that sold were up compared to January in most areas across our greater Birmingham market. In the over the mountain area, those sold listings were up anywhere from 14.7% in Hoover all the way up to 64% in Alabaster and 100% in Calera. And so one of the things that tells me is when you look at somewhere like Hoover or Vestavia, those are higher priced markets. The markets like Calera and Alabaster are a little bit more affordable for most families. And so those numbers are holding up and going up, and more things are getting gobbled up quicker in some of those markets than in some of the higher price markets. That sort of fleshes out in the median sales prices too. You've got several areas that were down a little bit. Most all of the areas, the median sales price was down in February compared to January. Well, let's look at that a little bit closer. Why is that? Well, in February, we're starting to trend more toward the spring market. More people are jumping into the market, so some of those numbers are changing. Some are going up, some are coming down. I think one thing with the sales prices, we've seen the interest rates have an effect more on the higher end of the market than the low end of the market. So some of those more expensive homes may be sitting a little while longer. And so those are not showing up in these median sales numbers as much as the stuff at the lower and mid price ranges. So I think we're seeing some things there.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing in the lower prices, we're still seeing larger number of multiple offers on our listings versus once the price point gets a little bit higher, still, strong offers, but maybe instead of 12, you're seeing 2 or 3.
You're seeing, the sales prices are holding up as far as if you put your house on the market and you price it right, you're not really going to have to move much on that price. Overall, I think we have a healthy market. We're trending toward a more normal market. We're not there yet. We're still in a seller's market in most areas. We still have well under 6 months of inventory, which is sort of that break-even point between a buyer and seller market. You've been thinking about selling your home. Now is as good a time, if not better than any. It might not be as big a frenzy as we've seen the past year or so, but it's still a great time to sell your home. Prices overall have not come down. Median sales prices come down a little bit from 1 month versus the other, but that's just a 1 month look. Overall, looking at this year versus last year, most areas are actually up. So there's a lot of movement in there. I would encourage you, if you're thinking about buying or you're thinking about selling, give us a call. Let's talk about the area that you're looking at. Let's talk about your specific neighborhood and what's going on in your neighborhood, because there's a lot of difference from one place to another, and positioning your home to sell, or if you're looking to buy, really looking at what's going on to see, is there more inventory in those areas? Might I have a better shot at getting something now versus 6 months ago? I'm real encouraged with what you're telling us, that rates improved a little bit last week. So hopefully we can trend a little more normal in that area, because we've been way above normal for a few months.
I'll see what I can do about keeping those rates coming down, Chad. Okay.
If anybody can do it, we know you can.
All right. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Well,
all right. Well, thanks for joining us this week, everybody. We will be back next week with more information, and just to keep you updated on what's going on in the market. If you need to get Jen or I to help you with your buying and selling decisions, you can reach us at 205-401-2423. Gary, what's the best way to get you?
Yeah, best contact for me is 205-410-4946.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.